Okay, chat. Since we're talking about the first time I ever got my fursuit, somebody asked me, have I ever, whatchamacallit, how did they put it? Somebody asked me, have I ever flirted with someone in fursuit that I didn't know what they looked like IRL? Dad, do you want to hear about my first fursuit crush? You want to hear about my first fursuit crush? And it's tragic. It is a tragic story. And this story is my first fursuit crush. Okay? So, I've been a furry for a long time. Okay? I've been a furry since I was like 10 years old. Okay? And like all the kind of stuff, I've always looked at the art. I've never been big into fursuits. Okay? I didn't understand them. And I didn't understand them until I went to my first furry con. I saw some people in fursuits doing a dance competition. I'm just like, oh, that's cool. Now I understand why fursuits are cool. I'm still not crushing on them. I want a fursuit, okay? So that was 2 years before I got it. I went ahead, as soon as the TFF ended, I ordered my fursuit. I paid $6,000 in advance. And they told me I was going to get my fursuit in 6 months. I'm like, this is amazing. I'm going to have my fursuit in 6 months. 2.5 years later, and I break up with my wife. I'm going to TFF, and they send my fursuit to TFF, okay? I put it on for the first time, and my entire old life dies, and I start my entire new life as new me, new Jik, all this kind of stuff, right? And the thing about my old life was that my old life was 100% straight. Never did anything gay, never did anything like that, never would like jump into that. That was my old life, okay? So I wasn't really thinking about it, but another thing that died when I got my fursuit for the first time, just like my fear of heights, was my reservations about doing gay stuff. The first day I got my fursuit, I went out and I fluffed around all day with my good friend. And my good friend's name was Wild. And me and him, we fluffed around. He was my fursuit handler. He got me water. He bought me fursuit spray. He bought me a fursuit fan. Wild is a really good friend of mine. And we did everything that day together, right? I did not take off the suit for like 14 hours. That's how much time I like dive into the suit. And as we're going around, it becomes nighttime, okay? It becomes party time. And if you guys have ever gone to TFF, they had an old hotel that had a massive tower, okay, that overlooked all of Austin, Texas. It's an amazing place, and I'm so sad that they got rid of that hotel for another hotel. But like, long story short, they had this amazing tower. And that night, they had a party at that tower, okay? And this party had like Majira and all these like famous fursuiters at it and all this kind of stuff, right? And it was by invite only, okay? It was by invite only that you get it. And they had guards at the door blocking people from getting in, and you could either buy a pass, you had to have a pass to get into the tower, right? So I show up at the tower in Jik, okay? In this fursuit as you see it today, right? And when I show up to that tower and the fursuit, security takes one look at me and they're like, yeah, you belong here. Yeah, you look like the rest of the fluffs. Yeah, your fursuit is awesome. Yeah, come on up. And meanwhile, look at each other and we're like, come on up. And they're like, yeah, to the exclusive, the super popular furry party, right? You guys want to come up to the super exclusive, super popular fur party? And meanwhile, look at each other, not being popular furs whatsoever. We look at each other and we're like, yeah, we're totally super popular and like awesome furries. Yeah, we totally belong here. So they let us up to the top of the tower, right? And we get up there and there is a massive party going on and it's amazing. There's dancing and everything like that, right? And we vibed there for a while. I wasn't super into drinking or anything at that point in time, and like Wild wasn't, but we got to like go outside and see like skyline, stuff like that. There was this one guy that came up to me. He's just like, hey. I'm like, hi. He's like, you don't belong here, do you? I'm like, no. He's like, yeah, you don't belong here because like you're not a famous furry yet, but I've seen you around. I've seen your energy. I've seen you talking to other people tonight. One of these days, you're gonna be someone. And then I'm going to be the guy to say that I knew that you were going to be someone in this fandom before you were famous. I'm like, oh, okay, probably not. But like, I like the furry stuff, so hi. And he's just like, no. One of these days, you're going to be someone. And I'm going to be the guy that's going to come up to you and be like, hey, I told you 5, 10, 15 years ago that you're going to be someone. And I got it right. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Probably not going to happen, but like, bye. So as me and Wild went to leave, right? Wild's ahead of me because he's a non-fursuit and he can survive. As I'm about to go to the elevator, some guy grabs me by the arm and turns me around. He's just like, "Hey there," and he just kind of grabs me. He starts dancing, and he was tall, he was handsome, and he had a really nice fursuit, stuff like that, right? Like, "Hey there, where are you going?" And I'm just like, "Oh, I was just leaving. Whatchamacallit, I think I'm good with the party and stuff like that. And my friend wanted to go, so like, I think I'm gonna leave." And he pulls me in close, and he's just like, "Well, how about we just have one last dance before you go?" And I'm like, "Oh, hi? Okay, sure." So me and him dance, okay? And it was really sensual. Like it was some dirty slow dancing, okay? And I've never dirty slow danced with another guy before, and I was all flustered, and I'm just like, "Oh, hi, okay, cool, yeah, we're doing this thing, stuff like that. This is really hot and like fun and stuff like that. I don't know what I'm doing though. I don't know what's going on." And after the song was done, he's just like, "Hey, that was fun. Do you want to keep dancing, or do you want to come back to my room? Do you want to have some more fun?" I'm like, "Oh, whoa, yeah, but I think my friend wants to go." And he's just like, "You can let your friend go. You can just stay here with me, can't you, buddy?" And I'm like, oh no, well, this is a very nice invitation, but internally inside my brain, I'm just like, "Hey, you literally just broke up with your wife 3 months ago, and you're destroyed inside. This is not a good idea, but like, go with it, but like, exit now, okay? Otherwise you're gonna get hurt." So I'm like, "You know what? I think it's a good idea that I just go with my friend." And he's just like, and he grabs me by the hand, and he's just like, "Okay, but want to have some fun later? Come find me." And the tragic thing was that I was real. Like, if this was me today, I'd be like, I would date that boy immediately. I would have fun with that boy immediately, right? But I don't know what he looks like. The excitement of the night, the darkness of the room, the play, the dancing that we did, stuff like that, I cannot remember anything about him. I don't remember what his name was. I don't remember what he looked like because he was wearing a fursuit. I don't remember anything about him. And I'm not even sure if he remembers because he just danced with me for one song. But he was the first boy that I had a fursuit crush on. And that entire weekend was such a adrenaline rush that I forgot what he looks like. And it's tragic because I would love to meet him again, but I just don't know who he is. Yeah, that was my first fursuit crush story. I really don't know. I cannot remember what his suit looked like. I can't remember what color it was. I can remember his voice. I can remember how tall he was. I can remember how he danced, but I do not remember like who he was, what he looked like, or anything like that. I told you it was a tragic story. That sounds like my friend Nikila from the Mannerism. Well, 1J, this was like 5-6 years ago. Okay, 1. 2, this guy was definitely older than any of your friends. 3, there's a lot of guys out there like that. Maybe here, if that boy, chat, if that boy hears this story, and if you remember me at TFF in the tower, you danced with me before I went to that elevator, if you remember me, this would be the greatest love story of my life. If you could reach back out to me, I don't know who you are, where you're from, what you did, but this would be an amazing way for us to reconnect. I don't even care if we date or chat. I just want to say hi to you and get your perspective on that night. Because, like, you saw me, you stopped me from going to the elevator, we danced, and I never saw you again. So if we could reconnect through this, that would be amazing. So romantic. It would be very romantic. I'm not. So here's the problem, though. He's definitely a top. The way he was treating me, I'm a top. I was just in a vulnerable state right back then, so I was acting like a bottom. So we definitely probably won't date, but I just would like to know who he was because he kind of helped change my life.